Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
What's up, y'all? It's Jeff Cobb, and you're listening to Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show on Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Hello and thank you once again for downloading and listening to another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, the Social Suplex Podcast Network. My name is Clive and I'm joined by my co-hosts. Ricky, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I've got a couple of guests on with us tonight. We have a friend returning to the show, Mr. Darren Kirkby. Hello, sir.
Hello, it's like I've never been away.
No, last time you were on didn't go so well for you, but we hope to get some frivolity back onto the airwaves tonight.
Well, that's why I dragged my co-host with Badlands with me. I'm trying to get him out into this podcasting scene, get his name about, and it's taking a while. But he's doing it, kicking and screaming.
Well, what better way to do it than on the best podcast in Western Bartonshire in Scotland? So, welcome to the show. Mr. Paul Tolley, how are you, sir?
Thanks for having me on. It's fantastic. I'm feeling good. I'm just disappointed I didn't see Darren's pain firsthand, but hopefully we'll see a bit more tonight.
Probably will.
So, Darren, the second last time you were on, when it wasn't the quiz duties, can you remember one of the last things you said when we were talking about NXT TakeOver 25 and we said, what do you see will be happening for the future?
I can't remember what happened and the last podcast I recorded, and that was about 3 or 4 days ago. I probably said it's going to go to TV sooner rather than later, or something to that effect. It was
roughly that. It basically saying it's going to be recognised officially as a third brand and it will get all the bells and whistles to go with it. And a certain start-up company have fired, and WWE have decided to fire some back, and we have the shocking news of the... We can get into that later if you want.
Ricky in with the heat.
I'm trying to do a fancy intro for it, but basically NXT have moved, or will move, to the USA Network on Saturday the 18th of September, and will be... No, not Saturday. Why did I even say the word Saturday there? 2-hour show. Wednesday, as it usually is.
4 weeks a day.
So what are your thoughts, Darren?
I just call me Mystic Meg, I suppose. No, I think it were already coming. I think AEW's had a bit of an influence, but I think it was going to happen with the new TV deals WWE were getting. They had to provide more content. It's just AEW have basically forced the hand almost.
Paul?
Well, firstly, I think it's a fantastic move for NXT itself. They certainly deserve it after kind of years of fantastic work now. Mm-hmm. My main concern about it is you've now got 6, 8. It'll be 8 hours of WWE on mainstream TV. I don't know how many people have the time to consume all that and kind of engage with it in the numbers that the WWE are looking for and USA Network and Fox are looking for.
It's one of those ones that, although I'm not emotionally affected by the news, I'm still not sure on which side I'm on for it, whether I'm happy with it or not, because there are pros and cons personally as a consumer. which might come to light further down the line, especially for us who are on the UK shows. What about you, Ricky? What are your thoughts about it?
Initially, who gives a fuck? Like, it doesn't bother me that they're on the USA Network. I couldn't care less about that. The whole ratings thing going up against AEW, couldn't care less. Like you say, it's what may happen if they eventually do take it off the network. I was quite surprised to see them say it's going to be on the network at the exact same time. But like I say, Darren says, eventually it's going to come off it, and that's when it's going to affect us. And obviously with Raw and SmackDown moving over to BT Sports next summer, I think it is, you would imagine if it was to come on TV over here, it's going to be on BT Sports. And if you already have BT Sports, then great. I do, so them moving over to Raw and SmackDown moving over to BT Sports doesn't affect me that much. Initially, like I said, it's for us over here in the UK, I don't think it has an impact at all in terms of it going over to USA. The thing, I don't know if I have an issue with it as yet, is that it's going to 2 hours. Paul says what we're looking at here, 7 hours now of wrestling on.
It's not too many.
And then if you throw in, the hour of NXT UK and 5, you get 9 hours there. I've often said less is more. I felt that applied perfectly to NXT. But on the flip side, we went a long time without seeing Keith Lee. When was the last time we saw Kushida? When was the last time we saw several other people as well? So it could work out that way, but the problem is once you move over to USA Network, you're now not only answering just to kind of one person, you're answering to that network, and that network will have certain demands and expectations, and they'll say, well, why can't we have this happening, or why can't we have this person shown? And I know I saw people kind of tweeting out saying, oh, well, Brock Lesnar's coming to NXT kind of thing, but now that is far-fetched, but the people at USA Network are going to want are going to have some kind of influence on it, and that is when it will affect us as consumers. The product itself may not be as good as it is right now.
I would personally, it peaked in 2018 with all the tag matches that the Undisputed Era were having. Aleister Black at his prime, Gargano and Ciampa, Velveteen Dream. That was a golden age for me personally, and it has waned a wee bit since then. But what I'm worried about with the 2 hours thing, now I get 2 hours, it seems like it's a breath of, like, they're able to take a breath now and they're able to have all these different wrestlers on, but you're talking maybe 20-30% of the show that they have, those wrestlers are green, and they hammer home that it's a developmental brand. So if we're going to see them exposed, it's a baptism by fire. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be a case of a lot of what ifs until it actually happens, until we see the product. It's going to be a what if Vince takes over, what if Triple H has not got the power, what if USA make demands, and we're not going to know that until September the 18th. For me, I think it's needed some more time for NXT. I think they're getting to the point where the roster is as bloated as the main roster. Yep. So there's people who you're not seeing, like Ricky said, you're not seeing Keith Lee for almost a month at a time. So hopefully they'll have the time to showcase these talents. My concern will be if they start bringing in more and more talent and the same talent go by the wayside.
I think what we've seen recently, over a year ago I had said they need to stop bringing in this talent. They've just got too many and they're bottlenecking in an attempt to get to the top spot of NXT, which was not held hostage, but Gargano and Ciampa were there for a long time. And the most recent crop, I would say it's only really been Matt Riddle who's risen to the top out of that lot, because the rest of them they've just been there, but they've not done much. And as you say, Keith Lee, almost non-existent at the moment, and I don't know enough about this Damien Priest, but a clean win over Keith Lee, that surprised me. It just seems like what's going on at the moment, it's a good thing that they're going to show these extra wrestlers who deserve the chance, but there's a possibility that the developmental, your Marina Shafirs of the world are going to be, they'll have a bad time of it.
I think she'd have a bad time of it no matter what programme she's on, though. I think this is why we're going to see a push for like NXT Canada, NXT Japan. I think they're going to end up being the development. I think NXT UK is going to end up being like a development for NXT, which will then be like the step-up point for main roster.
Mm-hmm. Paul, I'm not sure if you do, but I know the podcast you're on, Five Nerds Go, there are a few Progress watchers on there.
Yeah, we've got a couple of avid Progress fans.
Mm-hmm.
One who's a season ticket holder of Progress.
And Progress actually tweeted out they've got big things in the future. So do you think there's that's almost guaranteeing that the Progress... Was it Progress? No, I'm wrong. Just forget that whole question because it was actually Evolve that said that.
Well, I think for sure Progress is in transit towards the WWE network, and now NXT has moved to TV from the network. They are going to need replacements, and I guess Progress is going to be one of those replacements, along with Evolve. We've seen Jim Smallman's now resigned his post from Progress, so I think there's a lot of change imminent. They're coming up to chapter 100 as well, so that feels like a nice place to kind of put a not a full stop, if you like, a comma in their history, and then I think we'll see it move to WWE Network.
A time to start a new chapter, almost.
Oh,
yeah, missed an opportunity there, didn't I? That's why we're a good team, you and I.
I think you're right. I think there's all this talk about WWE buying companies like Fart and then Evolve and Progress. That's going to be like the almost replacement for NXT. I think we're going to see a lot of smaller promotions that are brought into this like WWE like developmental like brand almost, and that's going to be the payoff. We're going to end up with these smaller little companies, almost like a WWE version of Fart TV.
Mm-hmm. We've also saw.
I think we'll see ICW on it as well,
because they had a couple of videos up. They got taken down, I think, but there were some for a day or so.
I wouldn't be shocked to see OTT on there as well.
Do you know, I would quite like that because I've not went out my way to watch it, but if it was handed to me on a plate, then I would definitely check it out. So there's been rumours as well, not rumours, fear-mongering, that a certain Vince McMahon will have his fingerprints all over NXT, what with the move. How strongly do people believe that will happen?
Personally, I think he'll want to know the ins and outs almost, because it's his brand. He's going onto a TV channel that he's worked with very, very closely. But I don't think he's got the time to be able to be in charge of NXT as well.
Because he said in that conference call a couple of weeks ago that he brought in Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff because he wants to step away from the weeds, so to speak. He's a busy man. We've seen today that there has been tweets about the XFL teams, so he's going to be busy with that for the next few months.
And they generally play on Wednesdays as well anyway, so
do they?
Yeah, well, they did do last time.
All right.
I would agree with Darren. Not so much that he'll take over the day-to-day running of it, but it will be a kind of, I want to know what's going on, keep me in a loop kind of thing. Because like I said, he just, even if he wanted to, like, how on earth could you have that much time to run Raw, SmackDown, NXT and the XFL? So I'm sure that at some point certain things it just seems like a Vince McMahon type thing, and I'm sure he might have you might want to see certain things on it, but I think for the most part it will still be Triple H running things. So yeah, like I said, I don't envision Vince getting involved too heavily. Maybe at the start he might, but like I say, no one has that amount of time to oversee 4 kind of companies.
It's not going to be as intensive as people think, but at the end of the day, it will have been Vince's signature on that contract with USA. Maybe Triple H, I don't know how high up he actually is in terms of the business side of things for NXT, but Vince will have okayed all that.
Yeah, Vince would have signed the deal. I hate to be the doom monger, but I think we will see him get quite heavily involved in NXT from September onwards. I think it's probably, in hindsight, that's why he's brought Bischoff and Heyman in to run Raw and SmackDown. Raw and SmackDown have their markets, their viewership nailed down. Bischoff and Heyman know what they're doing. He can trust them, and he can start really putting NXT up as a proposition against AEW, because this isn't a network. It is to fight the war, if you like.
I want to follow on from that. So I think, first of all, there's been one failure straight away, that they went on 3 weeks, is it, before AEW debut, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have done that. I would have done it the other way around. I would have went on after AEW, and I think there's no way, certainly in the first few months, that they're going to be able to compete with AEW in terms of the ratings over there. There's too much buzz, too much excitement for AEW over there, I think.
I don't agree.
I do. I think AEW, I'm not going to say that they're going to wipe the floor with them, etc., because I don't really know what the expectation, what people think AEW is going to get over there, like viewership wise. But I certainly think those first few weeks, I think you will see AEW kind of being like a clear winner. I don't know, I wouldn't have done it that way. I would have waited to see what AEW have to offer the first few weeks, and then I would have come in, because I feel like you could have built up even more after they've made their debut. And the other thing, none of us are Americans, so we kind of could have, maybe they got rants or someone to answer it. I don't know what's more readily accessible. Is it TNT or is it USA Network? I'm not entirely sure.
I think they're pretty level.
Right.
I spoke to a guy called Dave Pazewski, and he said that NBC is like the big dog, and then USA and TNT are kind of at that level.
So is it still like cable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like USA are part of like your basic cable package. Right. So it's not anything like for us like that we pay a TV license and then automatically, if you have the TV in the house, you automatically get channels 1 to 5.
Yep.
I don't think it's like that. I think you pay something on top of that. So you might need to get we get like the basic Sky subscription.
Sky One and all
so
that. So
it might be involved in that, where you get Sky Atlantic, Sky One, etc.
Yeah. But just going back to your point about WWE making the wrong move, coming in the exact opposite, I think this was the best move to do. I think get in there, lay your marker, basically try and get a little bit of brand loyalty in before AEW drops, and then basically you're setting the marker for AEW to say, come on, this is what we've done. If you're going to beat us, go for it.
And
there's an adage in business: if you're not first, you're last, and WWE have certainly gone to going first, I think.
See, as well, I've not read them, but apparently there was a major plot development at last week's tapings for NXT, so that might tie in with does anyone know what that spoiler is at all?
I know a spoiler, but I don't know if that's the spoiler you're talking about.
I've heard some spoilers.
And would you say it is worthy of a big moment on their debut? Or is
not that I've saw, no.
Right.
I can't see. I couldn't link what happened in the spoilers to the debut unless it's going to be about like starting with Undisputed Era, I suppose. I don't know.
So I think Ciampa comes back on the debut episode though.
He's out for
I think
months.
that.
He's out for
And I
months.
think he takes the title from Adam Cole on that same night.
Is he fit enough to
No.
be
Well,
in
that's
Raw?
that's I'm working, and it's a kind of a big assumption that he is. He's been cleared to work. Like I said, I've not saw anything to suggest that he has or he hasn't. But I think we see. I certainly see. We see his return anyway.
I agree with that. I think Ciampa's there, stone cold. Even if he's injured, they're going to have him on TV. He's one of the big stars, so he's definitely going to be there. If he's fit and healthy, yeah, going up against Adam Cole straight away, that would be a big shot across the bow.
I think he's out for a long.
I don't know. I thought I saw. I don't know. Not sure.
What was
I assume something big would happen, like the first big thing would happen on the first night AEW run. So you've got, 3 weeks to build a storyline, and then have a payoff the night AEW launch.
I think, and like again, me and Clive have said time and time again, we couldn't care less about ratings because the ratings don't factor in us over here, obviously, right?
And the ratings are skewed anyway, they're not an exact science.
Exactly. And if people know how our ratings kind of things work, it's like an estimate, or you're just basing it on like a small fraction kind of thing. Because it's like, it's not even... I never knew how it used to work, and I kind of dug into how it goes, and it's kind of like they base it on like 100 people watching something. If 10% of 10 people of that 100 people are watching it, they multiply it by a certain amount, and that kind of gives you on average of up and down what the people up in the UK are watching. So, but the thing with the ratings thing over there is that, I mean, you're never really going to get a true reflection of it because it's going to be on the network as well. So some people could watch it on USA, some could watch it on a network. Like I said, me personally, I couldn't care less that they're going head to head. Like, I don't care. I'll watch both shows. We'll not be watching NXT live, so in that sense, it doesn't change anything. Watch it the next day. Yeah, man. Like, some people kind of get too worked up about it. I'm kind of the complete opposite when it comes to stuff like that.
I'm happy for it. I can't wait. I really can't. I think this is going back to when I was the most invested as a wrestling fan, when we had the heart of the Monday Night Wars and you were channel flipping, and that's when Vince brought his best product. It's when WCW were doing the best business. I'm well up for this battle. I think it's going to be a very interesting time.
Yeah, see, although I don't care about AEW, what they're doing, if as a result it means that Triple H and co are going to really go for it and give us excellent stories with excellent wrestling, some swerves along the way, swerves that make sense, obviously, and just brings NXT back to the 2018 heyday. I know that's not everyone's favourite time, but it is mine. If they go down that route, then I'll be more than happy. And if AEW keep firing back with great booking, great creative, as long as Triple H does the same, I'm happy with it. Now, one of the things, another rumour that's come about from it, that 205 Live is soon to be no longer.
I saw that on a What Culture video today. Yeah, I think that's bullshit. I think WWE are trying to throw out as much product as they can to I don't think you're expected to watch everything. They're just throwing out enough products out there that they'll grab the audience in some way. I think it needs to move to follow NXT. I've said it for such a long time. That SmackDown crowd is not the right crowd for 205 Live. And then with the talks that SmackDown's going to 3 hours, or at least WWE are providing 3 hours worth of programming, I think now's the time to shift 205 to NXT, film it at the same time. You have a crowd who enjoys that kind of wrestling, and it'll just make for a better show.
Because they could even follow the model that they have just now, where they do NXT live on USA, it finishes at 10 or whenever it is, and they put on 205 after it. It's still live.
Exactly.
Are you a 205 watcher, Paul?
I'm not, unfortunately, just because I don't find time to fit it in.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people say.
Oh, you don't need to say unfortunately. It's fine. Don't worry about that.
And cruiserweights are not my favourite thing anyway. I much prefer a heavyweight to a cruiserweight. So.
Oh well, that's fair enough. So it's just you and me then, Darren, for the 205 loving.
It certainly is. I still honestly think if you were to watch just an out-and-out wrestling product made by the WWE, you can't go wrong with 205 Live. I think it's just outstanding in-ring action.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, you know by now that I am not a fan of rumours. It's just one of those ones, because of all the changes that are going on. SmackDown's going to Friday nights. Is it Fridays? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for 205 Live? I think it's not even a want. I think it would make sense for 205 to go to Full Sail.
Mm-hmm.
All you need to do is get in some purple spotlights and you're sorted.
Yeah. A quick ring change. I mean, they're experts at it anyway. And, yeah, it'd be absolutely fine. They could set it up in the break. Mm-hmm. So you could literally go on live straight after. I'm
just trying to think of what other... One of the things that I do like about it is, according to the news, it will stay in Full Sail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they would talk about it becoming a travelling brand almost, weren't they? But, yeah, I think Full Sail's the best place for it. The crowd there are rabid for it. I think the crowd actually adds to the show a lot of the time with NXT.
I mean, the Full Sail crowd are basically just a couple of hundred of hardcore smarks, but they do very much add to it.
Yeah, I always try and look out for the granny, and also the big tall guy who always has a red face.
Is that an Everton top that he's wearing?
He has done, yeah. I've seen him wear that before. Yeah, scumbag.
Is that why you hate him?
Actually, I look out for him because he gets so invested and gets so passionate. Mm-hmm. I mean, weren't he were at the AEW show not long ago, weren't he, where he were literally was it Kip Sabian, his face he were in or something like that?
I think so. Did he not spit on him?
He kissed him?
I think he kissed him, yeah.
Kissed
him, yeah.
So Saliva was transferred. And Angel Garza left him hanging for a high five during the breakout tournament as well.
Wow.
Good.
I know the answer to this, but since we're talking about NXT kind of wanting to make a big impact on a debut, what are the chances Tyler beats Walter at TakeOver and Walter goes to NXT? I know he's always said he's never wanted to work in America. He's content. He wants to stay here, stay like in Germany, Austria, etc. But is there a chance anything like that happens?
For a one shot, I would say probably would, but the rumours I've heard is that he only signed a 1 year deal anyway, and
really?
he may not be looking to re-up.
All right.
It should be a shame because I think he's been brilliant on NXT UK.
Mm-hmm. And was he not brought in primarily for training the Germans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we were trying to get their fingers into WXW as well, weren't they? Because it's very closely linked in there. But yeah, I could see him coming over every now and again, but he just does not want to make a permanent base in the US, so I can't see it being a permanent fixture.
Yeah, I would much, as an NXT UK fan, I would much rather he just stays put.
Mm-hmm.
As would I.
So just think, Ricky, we might have NXT UK as the network wrestling show. Isn't that beautiful?
No, they're also going to be announcing another takeover as well. Another NXT UK takeover.
How do you mean?
Well, you know, the Cardiff one's coming up in a couple of weeks. Another, and we'll be announcing, I don't know when, but I saw the video where they were saying we want the fans to vote and tell us where they want the next NXT UK takeover to take place. So I don't know if that's going to happen before the end of the year or maybe the turn of the year like we've done earlier on this year with Blackpool. Fingers crossed it's come to Glasgow.
Did you say there was a poll?
Well, not so much a poll, but it was just like a video. We want you to tell us where you want it, kind of thing. So it was not an actual proper official poll.
Well, Stevenage on there.
I vote Burnley. Can I put the mechanics in Burnley? You can fit 200 people in there easy.
It would be really weird to see a big graphic saying NXT UK takeover Stevenage. Are you close to Cardiff at all, Paul?
No, I'm not. I live in England now. So no, my parents live quite close to Cardiff.
I'm showing my lack of geography. How close to Stevenage is Wales, if at all?
Not about 150 miles, about that.
That's quite a stretch.
Yeah, and I've chosen to neglect NXT Cardiff to go to New Japan, London on the same day.
I was pleasantly surprised to see that NXT UK had sold out. There was a bit of backlash that they decided to run the show the same day as All Out, New Japan, and a Wales rugby match in Cardiff as well. So, but they've sold out, so that's good news to hear.
That's really good. I didn't know they sold out.
Yeah, apparently getting hotels in Cardiff has been absolutely brutal. It's just been jam-packed.
Yeah, match day, it's like 150 quid minimum.
Yeah.
Even for like travel lodge.
Oof. Can you imagine forking out 150 quid for a travel lodge? You'd cry, wouldn't you? You'd absolutely
one sachet
cry.
Of coffee. 150 quid for one sachet of coffee.
I cry when it's 40 quid a night.
And they've got those shitty wee thimbles of milk, dried milk. Oh dear. So I want to see, because while the takeover sold out, I think they're still trying to rally the troops for their tapings the next night. Maybe the lack of hotels is causing that issue for people.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, probably.
So one of the things that I was wondering about this NXT moving to USA thing, do you think there'll be, obviously in terms of mainstream exposure, but see when it comes to things like will they keep doing takeovers, or will they be included in bigger or more frequent takeovers, or will they be in more pay-per-views, brand splits? Because it's live, it's not in a taping schedule anymore.
Yeah, again, listening to the rumour mill, apparently the pay-per-views for NXT are not going to be called takeovers pretty soon. So, yeah, it looks like this move is going to shake a lot of things up. And then again, though, it all boils down to what ifs and what will happen, and we're just not going to know until these events happen. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be a shame if they start doing monthly NXT pay-per-views. I think it'd be just too much to watch, and you would have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah,
because it would be like, remember last year when it was like a Raw pay-per-view, and then 2 weeks later it was a SmackDown pay-per-view, and then like you said, it's too much. I would rather have done the stuck to the normal, the current template. I'm okay though with an NXT pay-per-view every single month, just as long as it's not merged onto the Raw and SmackDown one, because too many people are going to miss out, and then B, it's going to be longer. I don't really want to stay up for a 4.5 hour pay-per-view every single month. So I still think they're still going to be kind of their own separate entity though. I don't think you're going to see so much crossover. I still think you'll probably get, I'm hoping though they still stick to the Saturday Sunday model as well. It would be disappointing though if they kind of merged the pay-per-views together. That would be too much, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just going to go beat for beat against AEW. I mean, I know we don't really want to keep making the comparison, but AEW have said that they're going to be doing 4 to 5 big shows a year, which is exactly what NXT do now. So I don't see much point in changing that, especially if this is who you're going to be competing against.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird one. Like, again, it is all unknowns. While I think Vince will have some sort of input, and it's still up in the air as to how much, does it worry anyone if he does, basically? Because
I'll let one of the guys start off with that.
I'm not worried at all. I've said for a long, long time, Vince does his best work when he's worried. And if AEW has got him to the point where he's worried about it, we're going to see the Vince McMahon coming out all guns blazing, and I think it'll make for a better product.
What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I'd agree with Darren.
Mm-hmm.
I think he will get involved, and I think it will make for a slightly more commercial, slightly more TV product. But I think he's clever enough to know to retain what makes NXT.
Yeah,
because he knows AEW are going to be doing a similar kind of thing.
I think. There's been many pictures and videos of him backstage in Gorilla at takeovers, so he has been there at the biggest shows that they have, and although he must have some sort of input on the night, even if it's just by the way, this is what I would recommend here. So I think he's already had input over time, maybe not as much as people fear. It's just, I think you're right in saying that he knows what AEW are all about, and he wants to keep that same sort of demographic going and make sure that we're catered to, basically. Because Raw and SmackDown, there is a different, it's more catered towards kids, and there is a demographic there. With regards to the product itself, I personally have been enjoying what's been happening on Raw and SmackDown a lot more over the last few weeks and months. There's a lot more stories that have engaged me, some that I could just do without 1,000%. Shane McMahon, I'm looking at you. Ricky and I were
I fucking hate Shane McMahon. I properly hate him.
Well, Ricky and I were talking about how boring Elias is earlier, and it just dawned on me that him having the 24/7 title breaks my heart. It really does. I don't know, it's just something really dull about him. And you've had people like R-Truth and Drake Maverick with that title giving it some real good entertainment, and then you've just got this guy who strums a guitar and is a bootleg.
He can't even fucking play the guitar. That's the problem.
That was always the worry for me with Elias. I think they failed to strike when he was hot. They should have stuck maybe an Intercontinental title on him about 9 months ago and really let him show in the ring. Now he's just like a bit of a musical attraction, and it's just they've really missed the boat. He's this year's Braun Strowman.
I know, a missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
See, I don't even know. I know there was a thing last week with him botching a move with Ricochet, but before that I hadn't really seen him wrestle badly. So I'm not sure why he wasn't used as a sort of wrestler. It's bizarre. So now
I don't think he's a bad wrestler.
No, I don't think he is. I just don't, like.
I'm not saying he's like this great wrestler. He's fine in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just realised he was entertaining on the mark, and they've just milked it for all it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't think he's very interesting beyond the mic, beyond the sitting on a stool and playing a song to make the crowd laugh. I don't think there's much to him beyond that.
Because his stick is slagging off the town that he's in. They must have been round all the major cities that they go to as part of their wrestling calendar. So what else has he got left to say?
Do you think he's got one of those maps that you can scratch off when you've been to the city? It's completely scratched now.
Uh-huh. So, is there any... Let's be hard.
Sorry, going back to your Vince, worried about Vince getting involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. Yes, because I don't want NXT to change. but that is whether Vince is involved or not, it's changing. Just because, like you say, they're going on to a live TV, it's going to be, it's going to come across more like a TV show. And no, because, look, I think far too many people now like to shit on Vince, and rightfully so at times, but at the same time, we won't give credit for Vince. Like me and Clive, we've said for a long time, if you think Becky Lynch done all this on her own and got over all on her own and Vince had no input, you're kidding yourself. Vince, I'm not saying would have been at the forefront of it or anything like that, but you can guarantee that he would have been heavily involved in that, along with a number of other things as well. So like I said, we kind of don't want to give Vince his credit when he deserves it, because we don't think he's capable of that anymore. But at the same time, I am still worried, but am I worried about Vince, or am I more worried about the fact that on their own live TV and it's now going to change in that aspect? A bit of both, but at the same time, I just said earlier, I think Vince is just still going to be kind of looming in the background, just kind of overseeing one or two things. I still think it will be Triple H's show to run. I don't get, and I'm still looking forward to it, because like he says, we may now get to see the Keith Lees and the Kushas and etc featuring more, and I said it earlier on. I'm just looking forward to it now. In terms of, like I said, I don't care about the ratings, etc. I'm just wanting to watch some good wrestling, and if they're both forcing each other, both companies are forcing each other to produce good shows, it's a thumbs up for me. I know we don't really ever talk about AEW on this podcast, but there's certain guys over there that I like. For instance, I love Ambrose and I love Moxley. I loved him watching him in the G1. I'll watch all his stuff. I love watching Kenny Omega in the ring. That's really about it. I'm not one of these guys that are on the end of Cody's you know what. Like, yeah, well done, you got yourself over, but let's be honest, you're kind of shit in the fucking ring. And now all of a sudden the Perfect 10 is a super heel that I don't buy that either. The Bucks are great. So I said there's enough in that company that's going to get me to watch anyway, and let's just enjoy it. I think it's going to be two very good shows.
One of the things I like about it is I don't think there's going to be as much pressure. So, see, over the last couple of years, there's been quite a number of quote-unquote promotions of wrestlers to the main roster, where they eventually end up not getting used as much, and people are quite impatient and it doesn't work out for them. I don't think there's going to be that stigma anymore, because if they are involved in some sort of superstar shake-up, it's just going to be, it will be a sideways move now, because they all have that same mainstream appeal, that mainstream attraction. And likewise, I don't think it would be seen as an embarrassment on the surface for someone to move over to NXT from Raw or SmackDown as well. So from that side of things, I think it's a bonus. But Paul, you'd mentioned at the start that it's a great thing for NXT in general. And I think what we're missing in all of this is, I've seen tweets from Regal, I've seen tweets from what's his real name? A-Train, what's his name again?
Matt Bloom.
Thank you. Lord Tensai himself. And wrestlers, they are over the moon with this news, and quite rightly so, because they've been wanting, they came into NXT to develop to become a sort of main event star, and they're going to have that opportunity given to them a lot better now with that mainstream exposure. So it's a win-win for the guys in Full Sail and the Performance Centre, so that should be taken into account. And happy wrestlers with probably fatter wallets as well.
Yeah. Paul, before you say it, and then I just want to say something else about what Clive just said about people tweeting out. And it feels like I'm ranting about certain things, but when you see people saying shit like, well, for instance, I'm looking at Joey Ryan, the reason I've not signed with a company is because I don't want to be told what to tweet. Right, well, remember when everyone used to come out and say, like, Nakamura came out singing praises of Roman Reigns, and a lot of other people were saying stuff, and everyone came out saying, look at that, they're doing everything to get Roman over. And then when Roman was diagnosed with cancer, then all these stories started coming out, and then people kind of realised, oh wait, the company wasn't telling people to send out bullshit tweets. So maybe the company didn't tell people to send out these tweets, and people are actually doing it off their own back. Sorry, yeah, but on you go, Paul. I just wanted to say that because that stuff just pisses me off, because some people just want to say shit for the sake of saying shit and just try to feel like they're in the know, when in reality you don't know anything.
Nobody's in the know.
I think people seem to want to refuse to believe that all these people who work for WWE actually get along and like working for the company, like working for Vince McMahon, and us all at home. Well, how can you possibly like working for Vince McMahon? They obviously do. So, like you said, I think a lot of things they do have their own accord, and they probably do get input on their own creative. You can see with Bray Wyatt. He's had massive input on his own creative. So a case of, if Vince thinks you've got a good creative mind, he'll trust you.
Yeah.
I kind of going back to the whole Dean Ambrose thing before. Clearly, he didn't trust Dean Ambrose and his creative mind. Yeah. Other people he does.
He's got his favourites, and you can see who those favourites are when it comes to who's at the top. And some of the main stars, like Roman Reigns, doesn't strike me as someone who has a lot of creative input into his character. He is quite, I don't want to say boring, but he is quite basic. He's not bursting with character or anything like that. But you do have... What's that?
Bland.
Possibly. I feel like I don't want to say that because I'm really enjoying this whodunit that's going on just now with who attacked Roman Reigns. So, but apart from that...
But I think you see at certain times, just some of the times they say something, you can see the actual Roman Reigns coming through. Like, yeah, for 99% of the time when he's saying stuff, it's like because he's been told to say it, but in certain times when he delivers something or how he approaches something, you can kind of see, oh well, that's actually how he might want to come across. That's like how he would have his character kind of thing. But like I said, You would probably assume that Roman could, if he wanted to, turn around and veto everything and say, "No, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. This is what I want to do." Like he would imagine he's got that much power.
Yeah.
But he's just the kind of guy who's like, "All right, well, you've handed me a script, and I'll kind of do the best I can with this." And he said it himself on Jericho's podcast. I'm hired by someone to be the actor, and I'm just reading their script.
And that's what a lot of people don't seem to realise. It is a TV programme. It's written as a TV programme, and they are just actors at the end of the day.
Actor can jump about the place.
Can you imagine someone walking up to Quentin Tarantino saying, "No, fuck this, I'm not doing this way." He'll go, "Okay, right, fine, I'll go get someone else to do it."
Exactly.
I'm just going to jump on your Vince McMahon defensive bandwagon as well.
Please do.
I love it when people defend Vince McMahon because I'm not.
You don't even know who Vince McMahon is. That's a spoiler for an upcoming Badlands episode when somebody in this conversation totally forgot who Vince McMahon was.
Someone else in this conversation was lucky enough to hear this segment, and I was baffled at what was happening.
I think it's been shared around the world at this point, thanks to Darren. But yeah, I think Vince McMahon deserves enormous credit because I think he's, for a long time now, acknowledged that Raw and SmackDown isn't everyone's cup of tea. And he never gets the credit that he has provided NXT, and he has provided 205 Live, and he provided the Mae Young Classic and the Cruiserweight Classic, and just this whole spectrum of products for fans to enjoy.
Oh, but that was Triple H, that wasn't Vince McMahon, obviously.
Oh yeah, Triple H did all that.
Of course.
Well, while Vince was on holiday.
Yeah.
Came back and everything was just in place.
He was invited to the White House for a high tea.
Yeah. I agree completely. Like, I will openly... I'm not one of these guys what you want to call it, if you want to... The FDS, if we want to call us or whatever. I will openly shit on certain things about it, but I like to think me and Clive kind of go in and be like, well, we're half full kind of guys. The glass is half full. There's enough people who are going to shit on it. We'll try and keep it positive as we can. But at certain times, no matter what, like whether it's Vince or whoever is involved, they have to get shit on. But like I says, when things are good, it's always going to be someone else that gets the credit and not Vince, and I think that's where it comes, and it's a bit unfair.
Yeah, absolutely. And when things are good, there's still always Shinsuke Nakamura's not getting pushed to the top. So people will still focus on the shit bit rather than the really good bit.
But that speaks more about them as wrestling fans than the actual product, though.
That's what worries me at the moment with NXT going forward, because all of a sudden the general online, the IWC consensus is that NXT is shit these days. That has been fueled by a small circle of influencers online, and that small circle of influencers, that group of IWC people, that is the demographic for both AEW and NXT. So people are having their minds influenced, their minds are made up already. NXT is going to 2 hours. That means that Vince is definitely going to take over and is going to bring all his shit bad habits with him. When AEW is going to be excellent, when they've done a handful of shows which have already been under sort of some harsh critique from people. But it's just their minds, and I think that's not fair.
But to look at a positive way on when it got NXT go to 2 hours, whether Vince is involved or not, we'll say Vince isn't, right, we understand it's still going to be kind of more of a TV type programme, but you've still got 2 of the very, very best minds in the business running it in Triple H and William Regal. Like, bottom line, they are 2 of the greatest minds. So, and then you've got guys like A-Train, etc., and a number of other people in the background, Shawn Michaels, etc. So you've got some of the absolute very best minds still running it. So, yeah, man, look forward to it. Like I said, as long as like people in spotlight and more and we get to see some of these people who have not been seen, I don't think they'll go out and sign so many people now from independent scene, because they're all kind of being AEW are getting them, WWE getting them. I think what you might now see is guys who are on Raw and SmackDown who are not being utilised now moving over to NXT full time, like Prince Pretty done. So, and we might see a few more.
So to bring this discussion to a close, we'll have a wee bit of fun, and as we probably think change will happen, I want you to have a wee think of what change you would like to see. One thing that you don't like about NXT going forward that you want to see gone, and I'll start because this has annoyed me for so long. You've got people like Kona Reeves coming out and Aaliyah, and their entrances are as long, if not longer, than Undertaker's. It is like 10-15 feet long, and it takes forever to go through their whole music, and it's just taking up a lot of time that's not required. Does anyone else feel as passionately about this as I do?
I feel passionately about Kona Reeves. I think he's an absolute gash wrestler. I do not like him one little bit. His look is horrible. His teeth are like a broken fence. I just don't like him. I don't think he's a good wrestler. One thing I would like to change about NXT, I'd like for the I don't like the placing of the commentator section. I'd like it to be ringside, I think.
I've never liked it away from the ringside. I've always much preferred it right in amongst the action.
Yeah, exactly.
Paul, have you got anything off the top of your head?
Yeah, but you put me on the spot. Yeah, because in terms of the product and kind of how it's presented, it is near enough perfect to kind of how you'd want a wrestling show to look. I've always said that one of my major problems with Raw and SmackDown and how it's presented is it's too bright and it's too flashy. It needs to be stripped back a bit and look like Raw used to look in the Attitude Era, as they say, where there's not so much lights and you haven't got video screens all over the place. I love that about NXT, and I worry that will change even. That kind of claustrophobic feel of a wrestling show.
Raw and SmackDown just look too clean.
Yeah, clean and a little bit childish, and a little and as a result of that, just a little bit kind of unauthentic. You want to believe that for while you're watching it, they're fighting for real, don't you? And I think all that kind of packaging takes away from that.
See, that's last week. talking about SummerSlam, I voiced my sort of mehness for the Bray Wyatt entrance, because I think one of the things, you think you've touched on it there, it was very dark and atmospheric. You had the lantern with the Bray Wyatt's head, the fireflies, and it's a real dark atmosphere and environment, and then the music stops and the lights come up, and it almost hurts your eyes. It's like a sudden turn on of the lights in the middle of the night, and it's just, oh, right, I'm back to a wrestling arena. I'm not in the depths of hell anymore. It's just a bit jarring.
Yeah, and you remember like with Kane and Mankind, so Kane would have the deep red lights, and Mankind, the arena would be darkened, and like you said, there wasn't that much of a massive gap between kind of the light they were wrestling in and the normal light anyway. Yeah. It wasn't such a harsh difference. And
with Undertaker, he had his dimmer switch in his jacket as the lights gradually came up, so it kind of worked with him. It's just, I think maybe that took me out of what happened with the Bray Wyatt entrance last week. And Ricky, I've still to go back and listen to the song in full, so I'll let you know my official opinion on it at some point in the next few months.
I don't understand how you don't like it.
It's just, anyway.
No, the actual song. The song.
I don't know. It's a slow burner.
You don't like the Brett's new music? I thought it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
Can I make a confession?
He's not actually listened to it.
You've not listened?
I wasn't that much of a fan of the original music either.
Oh, that's a hot take.
Yep.
I think it really sets him apart from like the rocky music that you'll get with some of like the. I really think it fits his character really, really well.
Listen, if it's not the Ascension's music, I am not interested. It's as simple as that. Ascension, Shayna Baszler, and...
That is a banger. Shayna Baszler's music is a banger.
Did you see today that CFO Dollar, if that's what they're called, their arrangement with WWE's ended?
Really?
Which I think is a massive blow.
Oh, bring back Jim Johnston.
Hashtag started for that one.
Jim Johnston's just doing remixes of his old songs now. I think he's just been allowed to rent out a little office in WWE headquarters with all his master tapes, and he just remixes old, like, and he's up. He calls it Uncaged, and I think he's up to like Uncaged 9 now, and it's like the theme tune from In Your House 8 remixed. Genuinely,
beware of dog.
Look it up.
That sounds like
mad.
A music teacher of a high school has been there for so many years, but he refuses to retire, and they've just locked him away next to the janitor's room to let him make mixtapes.
Exactly that.
Ricky, do you have anything you would change about NXT going forward?
I kind of agree with Paul that it's as close to perfection as you can get in terms of like just the way it's produced and everything they do. Now, obviously, when you talk about booking and creative and all that nonsense, that's different. But just the way it's presented, I think it is more or less flawless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would agree with having the commentators ringside though. Like that's where they always should be.
More Slipknot songs as well. Just let everyone have a Slipknot song as their entrance. Unless anyone else has got anything to add about NXT's move, will we move on to the final segment of the show? Some good old quiz time.
I'm surprised. I've got something. It's not NXT related, but I'm surprised you haven't brought it up, Clive. These tweets from Kalisto and Grand Metalik.
I saw that. I saw Kalisto's. I didn't know it was Grand Metalik. I think I had. Did
you see Braun's reply to him though?
What?
No, I haven't.
No, so to Kalisto, I can't remember what Kalisto exactly said. Like he's leaving or whatever.
It said 10 months. 10 months.
Braun replies saying #adios.
Wow, that's brutal.
See, for some reason I thought the other person was Zach Gibson, but now that I think about it, I think that was a dream that I had last night.
What? Zach Gibson said 10 months. ...
No, I had a dream that there was I saw somewhere that 2 people had said revealing things about their future with the company, and I knew that Kalisto was one of them, but then I just dreamt that Zach Gibson was the other.
I think I'm 99% sure it was Grand Metalik. He basically said, the same for him as well.
Oh, well, I'm not going... I know there's families to feed, but... Well, okay.
Fuck them.
No more lucha things.
If I need to see...
Rance will be happy.
If I need to see one more meaningless Lucha House Party match, then I don't know what I'll do. Nothing.
See, before we move on to the final segment of the show, my final thought about it is fucking bring it on. Let's just watch some great wrestling.
Agreed.
That's all I care about. I just want to see some great wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I'll just leave a wee pause here for the quiz time music.
It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A fucking WWE quiz.
And we'll move on to the quiz now. Paul, if you're not familiar with this, basically we have a quiz. 10 questions that are based around a certain topic. This week, Ricky is the quiz master, and we each have our own buzzers. So my buzzer is, oh, it's true, it's damn true. Darren, yours is?
I haven't even thought of a buzzer yet. Let's go with my old favourite, I did it for The Rock.
Paul, do you have anything? It's basically, it can be like a catchphrase of a wrestler, or just, you can even scream if you want, it's up to you.
Well, just for Darren's benefit, because he'll annoy him as I win this quiz, I'm going to go for woo!
I knew. I fucking 100% knew.
To let Paul know, the reason why we do this quiz is me and Clive, we used to work together, and on the train home, like every other day when we got to train home together, one of us would just randomly prepare a quiz for the other one.
For no reason at all.
For no reason whatsoever. Paul, because we probably didn't want to talk to each other on the quiz, we just do it on the train ride home, so fuck it, we'll just do a quiz.
Were there not football questions as well? Like
there was all sorts of random stuff.
Like who did Ian Holloway vote for in the Brexit vote?
Did Ian Holloway vote for Brexit?
Well, I suppose the weather isn't so interesting up there, is it?
Oh, it's raining. So that's how we then decided one day as we were on a train, if we were to do a podcast, we always need to do the quiz. And we've done it every single episode.
Well, we love a quiz on 5 Nerds Go, so I feel at home.
Excellent. So this is going to be a NXT and an NXT UK related quiz.
Brilliant.
He watches neither.
Oh dear. For the next time you're on, we'll do a heavyweight wrestler quiz for you.
Question number 1. The Undisputed Era defeated who to win their first ever NXT tag titles?
Oh.
Woo!
That sounds funny out of context, actually.
Was it Pete Strong?
It was not.
Oh, wow. I can't believe I've not even got any inkling at all.
I'm just gonna really guess here. I did it for The Rock, and I know it's not right, but I'm saying it anyway. TM61.
It's incorrect.
So it's left to me. Jesus. Oh, it's true, it's damn true.
Yep.
Lane?
Incorrect. So I will give you a clue and who you can buzz in whoever gets it right. So two out of this group of 4 are still on the main roster, and the other 2 have gone NXT or NXT.
I did it for The Rock.
Yep.
Is it Sanity?
Correct.
So it is. That was a January takeover, was it not?
I don't know if it was a takeover. I think it was a normal episode of NXT.
Right.
Question number 2. Which members of Sanity was it they beat?
I did it for The Rock.
Yep.
Young and Wolf.
Correct.
It's true, it's damn true.
Yep.
Alex Wolf and Killian Dane.
It's incorrect.
Jesus, well, there's only one other option, is there not?
Go on, Paul, get that point. Get that 1 point. Your participation award.
Killian Dane and Eric Young?
Yes.
Yes.
Still struggled.
I was waiting on to see Nikki Cross and someone else.
I'm glad I didn't buzz in because I would have got it wrong because I forgot Killian Dane's name, so I didn't buzz.
Question number 3. Pete Dunne defeated who to become the number 1 contender for the UK title?
It's true, it's damn true.
Yep.
Mark Andrews.
It's incorrect.
I did it for
Yep.
Flash Morgan Webster.
Incorrect.
Just give me a second. Let me think.
Googling NXT UK stars.
I feel like I know it, but woo! Shit, I've forgotten his name again. The one everyone says is Mini Finn Balor. Oh, what's his name?
Jordan Devlin.
Jordan Devlin.
It's incorrect.
Can I just say before we continue, I am cementing my opinion that Finn Balor, in contrast to the chants that you usually hear, Finn Balor is a shit Jordan Devlin. Anyway, continue.
I've said that Jordan Devlin is better than Finn Balor.
Yep.
It's not my opinion. I just forgot his name.
Right, I'll give you a clue. He is... he's currently on NXT UK product, and he is ex-NXT Tag Champion.
It's true, it's damn true.
Yep.
Trent Seven.
Correct.
A point apiece.
Question number 4. Now, you can all give me an answer, right? Because I would give you a choice, but I'm not going to. How many total different reigns of the NXT tag titles has there been?
Darren, I feel as if this question was asked in the quiz you were on, the quiz episode.
Was it?
I will never remember that. So I'm gonna wing it again. I did it for The Rock. I'll go with 11.
Clive and Paul, you're just gonna have a guess as well, and I'll give it the closest. How many?
8.
Rock. Clive.
I did it for The Rock, and I'm going to go with 17.
Clive was the closest. The actual answer is 18. So I'll give Clive the point. Question number 5. The first episode of NXT UK took place in which city or town? I don't even know if it's a city.
Plymouth.
It's incorrect.
I did it for The Rock.
Yep.
Coventry.
It's incorrect.
Paul, I thought you were going to say Stevenage there.
That's next year. You need to prove your metal before you play Stevenage.
Right, it was somewhere in the home counties, I'm sure. Somewhere down south. First ever episode. It's true, it's damn true.
Yep.
Birmingham? I know that's not all the way down south, but...
That's incorrect. It was further south in Birmingham and Coventry. So your final clue would be one of the most famous universities is located in this town.
I did it for The Rock.
Yep.
Cambridge.
Correct. Okay, dog. Question number 6. How many tag teams have won the tag team titles on NXT and have gone on to win the tag titles on the main roster, whether it be a Raw or a SmackDown?
Are you taking all of our answers again?
Why not?
Okay, I think I'm going 2. I think 2.
I wanted 2, so I'm going to go 3.
Try, give me a wee moment. I think 1.
Paul gets it. The actual answer is 4.
So you've got the Revival, right?
Oh no! Stop! Question number 7. Can you name them all?
Oh.
So we're actually all on 2 points apiece.
Okay.
Can you name them all?
I did it for The Rock.
Yep.
The Revival. AOP.
God, that's right.
The Ascension. I ain't even got another one. I've lost it. I ain't got another one. Sorry.
Anyone else?
Woo!
Oh, that makes me giggle all the time.
American Alpha.
Oh, there it is.
Who are the other 3?
Oh, AOP, Ascension, and Revival.
It's incorrect.
Oh.
Clive.
Right. So, it's true, it's damn true. You have American Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
You have AOP.
Mm-hmm.
You have Revival.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who has come up as a unit? As a team. Oh, I think I know the answer. Is it the Iconics?
No.
Thank God. Wow. That was from...
I was like, wait.
Oh, they didn't win anything in NXT, did they?
And there is no NXT Women's Tag titles either.
Well, that's the first change I would make to the move to USA.
Another title.
Just so I can retrospectively win that point.
So you've all got 3. There's 3, so it's American Alpha, Revival, and the Authors of Pain. The final one.
Woo!
Oh, okay, I was going to get a clue, but go on.
Oh, I'll wait for the clue. Oh no, No, I'll go. No, I'll wait for the clue.
They're throwing the rule book out the window here. I'm not bringing you on this show again, Paul.
One of the members was not actually a part of the group in NXT when they won the titles on the main roster.
Woo!
Yep.
Fashion Police.
Nope.
It's true, it's damn true.
Yep.
I'm going to say Seth and Dean.
Did they win it in NXT?
Oh, I keep forgetting that they have to be champions in NXT as well, okay?
Surely that would just be
name
tag champions.
Oh, it's true, it's damn true.
No, I sold it in Dan, I said.
Oh, right. Do you want me to give you my answer, Darren, and you can tie with that one?
I have no idea. I'm gonna. So it's a trio now, or it has been a trio because one of them wasn't a member. I'm gonna go with the Lucha House Party, but they weren't they called something else? Lucha Dragons.
That's incorrect. I'll go if you give you one final clue, right?
That would have been my answer as well, Darren. So.
Oh wait. So your clue will start in 3, 2, 1.
forgotten her name again.
Braun and Harper.
You don't need to name the individuals, just the team.
Oh, the White family.
Correct. It was when they won it with Luke Harper.
Technically, the Bludgeon Brothers were Wyatt and Rowan. Harper.
Yeah, I got that wrong on every level, but I got the point somehow.
That's not like you.
That's true. I forgot about the Bludgeon Brothers.
Bludgeon Brothers were tag champs, and weren't they the tag champs on NXT?
Were they?
Either way, Paul still got the point.
That's fine. I completely messed that question up, actually. Right, anyway, let's move on.
I saw that in your face, aye.
So I forgot about the Bludgeon Brothers. Name the teams who competed in the first NXT War Games matchup.
Oh, it's true, it's damn true.
Yep.
Roderick Strong and AOP. Undisputed Era minus Roderick Strong. And Sanity minus Nikki Cross.
Right. So it's currently Clive 3, Paul 3, Darren 2.
Shock.
Oh, Darren, if you get this, it goes down to the final furlong.
Yeah, there's 11 questions today. How many XT have gone on to win a world title on the main roster? The ex-NXT champions have gone on to win the world title on the main roster.
I did it for The Rock.
Yep.
2.
It's incorrect.
Can I ask for a clarification?
Yep.
Are we talking women as well?
No, sorry. Men only. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, it's true, it's damn true.
Yep.
3.
Correct.
Is the next question name them?
Not anymore, it's not.
Can I say them then?
Yeah, go on.
Owens, Rollins and Balor.
Owens.
Correct.
I forgot Owens.
I didn't get Balor, I forgot his name.
Right, so the final one. Let me see. So this is going to be worth 5 points just to keep everyone kind of in with a chance of winning.
Okay.
Here we go. In order from
Lord.
Yeah, indeed.
first to now, name every NXT women's title reign.
Oh, for God's sake.
Beginning to now.
You do realise we're doing double duty and we're recording another podcast tonight, don't you?
This won't take very long if you think about it.
In order.
That question's so hard it should have been the final
I should have kept that for the quiz.
Aye, the final question of the quiz. All.
No, I'll cut another one, don't worry.
I mean, I've not even begun to think about it. I'm refusing to.
I did it for the wrong week.
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna knock her up on first one. I'm gonna go Charlotte, Sasha,
Incorrect.
Bale. There we go. Thank God for that.
I'll have a go. Woo! Paige.
Oh, I forget that old broken neck's been in the NXT.
Paige. Charlotte. Paige, Charlotte. Bailey.
Is that correct?
Okay. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Yep.
And I'll give myself a bonus 5 points for adding in something. So, Paige, vacant.
Please don't. Yeah, I didn't need to know it was vacant.
Okay, fair enough. I'll leave the vacants out. Paige, Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Asuka, Ember Moon, Shayna.
What? Ember Moon?
Yeah, Ember Moon, Shayna, Kairi Sane, Shayna.
Correct.
Oh, you
Wow,
dancer!
he deserves it for that.
I forgot that Ember Moon won it.
That's the other time it was vacant.
Yeah, because Asuka dropped it.
Well played. You deserve the 5 points for that.
I would be humble, but I bloody well did. So that concludes the quiz, and that concludes this week's episode. Paul, thank you for coming on to make your Ricky and Clive day.
I enjoyed it, and I'm just glad I've kind of exposed you to a Welsh person at last.
Yes. Before we started recording, I confessed that I'm pretty sure I've not met a Welshman until tonight. So that's the shock reveal for you all.
My bit for society.
Yes. As a present from me to you for that, would you feel free to plug all your stuff that you do?
Okay, well, I leave Badlands to Darren because he's a lot better at plugging stuff than me. I also appear on 5 Nerds Go, which is a podcast pretty much about nothing now. It started out as a podcast about wrestling, but now we just meet up intermittently and chat and record it and put it out, and some people seem to like it. You can follow us at 5 Nerds Go. We're on iTunes, we're on Acast, and we're on SoundCloud. And you can follow me at Raincounter on Twitter. And obviously you can find me on Badlands with Darren, who will do a fine job now of promoting that.
That's a stretch.
On you go then.
Do you want me to go straight away into mine? Okay then. Right, you can follow me on Twitter at DJ Kirkby, usually in some sort of argument. You can follow either of my shows. I've got Why We Watch, where I talk to content creators and fans about their wrestling fandom and their history. I have a UFC podcast that nobody listening to this show will ever listen to, called 5 Rounds. And I have a little show called Badlands, which I drag Paul along with me every now and again when he can be bothered to turn up. We talk about the Mount Rushmores of wrestling, but not just the normal Mount Rushmore of GOAT wrestlers. We talk about different topics every week. We even sometimes do unchiseled episodes, so listen out for that in the very, very near future. But I've also got something else I would like to push. This weekend, the 24th, us guys over at Brainbuster doing a charity stream on Twitch, 8 hours non-stop stream where we're just going to be doing like versions of our shows. Basically, the Super Kick Foundation and the ASPCA, so for basically hashtag for vets and pets. So yeah, I'd be obliged if people would stop by and check us out and maybe donate a few shekels here and there. Excellent,
that's good. Thanks for letting us know about that one.
If anyone's heard the outtakes that Darren's so kindly shared around the wrestling community of me trying to do stuff live, then it's going to be worth a watch.
It's going to be brutal.
Ricky, have you got anything?
Nope.
Fair enough.
Well,
I never do. I'll leave it plugging to you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network, alongside other shows such as One Nation Radio, Keeping It Strong Style, Grown Men Watch This Shit, Darren's Chop Shop and Get in the Ring, and All Things Elite. Please leave a nice big 5-star review on the podcast app of your choice. If you go to socialsuplex.com, you can find those podcasts and the columns that we write. If you press the subscribe button, they'll go straight into your email inbox. The Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group is where you will find us all. Please go to powerslam.tv, where you can put in the promo code Social Suplex and get over 4,000 hours of independent wrestling from around the world free for a month. And go to the Social Suplex page for the ProWrestlingTees.net, where you can clad yourself in some lovely clobber with our podcast logos on them. We are at Ricky and Clive on Twitter, and I have some breaking news for one and all. My sources have told me that what's his face?
You don't even know your own joke?
Jordan Devlin.
Vince McMahon.
Killian Dane.
Kenny Omega. They're doing on AEW going forward. There's going to be a heel turn for him, and he's going to be a very right-wing, pro-Trump wrestler with really controversial views, and his name will be Kenny Omega.
That's god-awful. Sorry about that, folks.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you, and we'll speak to you next week. Night.
Take care, folks.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.